Hello fellow simmers, it's Sam your Beam and a BLS here, and welcome to another Train Simulator Classic video. Today we're going to be looking at the brand new Wayside Works NS8800 class locomotive for Train Simulator. So this is a DLC that was released over the Christmas period by Wayside Works as a little Christmas present to us all. And yeah, in a sense, what it is a new 060 Austerity locomotive for Train Sim. So, as you're all aware, the original Austerity locomotive that was released for Train Simulator was done by Mesh Tools, and yeah, we've had that for a number of years now. It comes with the Memories to Mardi route and Return to Mardi routes. So it's interesting to have a different take on the Austerity, and one that's made from a different developer. So let's have a little look at it, shall we? So we're going to look through the manual first. So we've got the number 8811 there. NS8800, and then we've got a little bit about the locomotive here, which I'll happily read for you. So, after World War II, the Dutch railway network was left in a state of complete disarray after the Nazi occupation. A partial solution to this problem was provided by the British War Department and the USATC by providing the country with several of their Austerity wartime locomotives. Among these were the Austerity tanks built by Hunslet, Hudswell Clark and Robert Stephensons and Hawthorne, to name a few. They were operated for the Nederlands Spoorwegen from the end of the war until 1957. Initially arriving in plain WD olive green, they fairly quickly gained NS numbers, and after a few years got repainted into a simple NS green, being rebuilt to have several of the standard fittings the Dutch railways required. They didn't last very long in mainline use, however. After 12 years in use for the NS, they were deemed obsolete and were sold to industry or scrapped. There are 3 NS 800s preserved today. If going by frame numbers, all of them are Hodges. NS811, which was saved from scrap at the last second, now awaiting a regular overhaul at the SSN. NS8826, which was run into the ground in preservation in the 1980s and is now strewn across the ZLSM. NS8815, which got repatriated to the UK, named Walkden, and now runs at the Ribble Steam Railway. So there is actually one that is was exported over to the UK. So I believe these are obviously the Dutch versions of the Austerity, which has been made by Wayside Works. These aren't British, so there is just put that out there. These aren't the British versions. So we've got a brief look at some of the controls here. So we've got A and D, which operates the reverser, and WNS, which operates the regulator. Okay, I think that's the wrong way round. I think A and D should be the regulator and WNS should be the reverser. I think that's a slight error in the manual there. We've got O and I inject steam, L and K injector water, spacebar, which is the whistle loop, V, which is whistle burst, and Z, which is whistle pitch quill. You've got the brackets, which operates the engine brake, and then you've got the slash and full stop for the handbrake. X and shift is sanding, N is the blower, M is the damper, F is the firebox door, R is stoking, shift 10 is lamps, and obviously train brakes there. Scripted variations, so this is interesting. So there is scripted variants on this pack. So obviously it's going to be really interesting to see the differences between this and the older Mesh Tools version. So on the WD variants, we've got numbers of any 3-digit numbers, lifting points on and off, furnace tube, lubes on and off, seats on and off, builder's plates. On the NS WD variants, I mean, just look at all this. I mean, that is some serious scripting work there. There is some variance here. I'm not going to go through all this because otherwise we'll be here forever, but if you guys want to pause the video and have a look and just have a read of it, then you're more than welcome to. But yeah, we'll have a little play in the editor in a minute just to look through those. So credits go to Forerunner, helping with the scripting. Trabant Deluxe, allowing for the use of his custom shaders. Swede, finishing off the NS8800's model when I lost all motivation. Okay, so we lost motivation. John helping to get the simulation just right. I don't know if that's John Astley or not, but yep, we've got John there. Stoom Stichting Nederland, gracious allowing me to camber all over their locomotive, fair enough. And Elias for changing my worldview, sort of as a buckets. Yeah, okay. So yes, there's been quite a few people involved with this project. So we've got important notice, and obviously, you know, the general EULA about the pack. So if you want to pause that and have a read, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, so that's the manual. We're going to keep this scripted variations page up just so I can have a look while we're in the editor. So we've loaded the locos up in the Elam Valley Railway route. So basically we're just going to have a brief look round. I shall make sure that our bits and pieces are off. They are. So let's have a look and have a little bit of a mess around. So this is your bog standard Austerity, which is a very nice looking model, to be fair. Not too bad at all, really. We're going to have a little mess around with some of the scriptable features before we get, obviously, looking around the models themselves. So we've got Builder's Plate, which is, as we can see, we've got Hunslet there. So if I change that to Hudswell, or is it Hudswell Clark? I think it's Hudswell. Let me just have a look at the manual quickly. Oh, so it should be Hudswell. Yeah. Builder's Plate equals Hunslet, Hudswell, or RSH. Okay, it doesn't seem to have done anything. Oh, it's because I've missed out the S, haven't I? Oh, there we go. So yes, we've got the Hudswell one. I spelled it wrong. Brilliant. Yeah, so Hudswell one. And then if we go to RSH, it will change to Robert Stevenson and Hawthorne's one. So that's very nice, isn't it? So we've got Hunslet. There we go. We've got Hudswell. And we've got RSH. So there we go. You know, we've got all of the different builders' plates there, all in their glory. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the chimney variations, shall we? So if we head over to here, we'll do a little point there. I'm going to come in and out of this quite frequently, guys, just to let you know. So, chimney, we've got default, Kolpa, gate, and then, Jesus, some really weird. We've got Giesel ejector as well, that's pretty cool. Okay, so let's have a look at the chimney. Oh my god, there's so much to do on this. That's unbelievable, actually. The 50 variations of customizable here. So chimney equals... Let's go with... I think that's how you spell it. Is that how you spell it? Okay, it doesn't seem to have done anything on that. Let's try Giesel. So Giesl. Unless have I spelled that wrong? Let me have a look at this. Does it need to have the little dots in between, or does it not? Let's have a look. I think that's changed it slightly. Not entirely sure what I'm doing wrong here, but it's not looking like we're changing anything. It's not working. So if I go with doors on and off, let me try that. Yeah, see, that's not working either. I must be missing something here. I don't know. I don't know why that's not working for me. Sorry about this, guys. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Yeah, that's bizarre. If I change that to back to Hans, look, does it do anything? Does it make any difference? No. See how some of these are now set out. Number. See, these are all just got numbers, so. Okay, yeah, so it doesn't. That looks like it's got like a tag in between or something, or a hashtag or something. It doesn't really tell you very well in the manual, does it? Okay, let's try that. What is that? Why is it? What is that little? Is that like a line on the top of the thing? Yeah, it doesn't really tell you how to do it in the manual properly, to be honest. That's a bit of a disappointment. Because what is that? Whatever it is, it's that. It's that little bit there. That whatever the bloody hell that thing is. It's that. So if I go and place that in there, now it puts the doors on. You see? So yeah, they don't tell us what key it actually is to put the things on. Yeah, that's interesting. So okay. So if I move whatever that, what is that key? Is it that? No, or that? There we are. It's the shift. So it's shift. So shift slash. Okay, fair enough. So right, okay, let's have a little mess around now. So if we go to this again, shift on that. Chimney. There we go. So it now changes the chimneys. So we've got a coil pile chimney, or whatever the hell it's called, which is that one there. We've got Giesel. No, that's spelt wrong. So it should be that. There we go. That's Giesel. Very, very nice. Really liking the look of that. Very smart. I wonder if there's any difference between the sounds of the Giesel one to opposed to the standard version. So what else have we got chimney-wise? And we've got Gieselen. So Gieselen. Oh yeah, and then that has the missing piece at the front there, which is pretty cool. Yeah, and I'm quite liking that. So what else do we have on this? Toolbox on and off. extra handrails on and off, so we'll have a little mess around with that. Toolbox equals on. Oh, look, there's a little toolbox down there. So if I turn that, there we go. Look, adds a toolbox on or off. That's pretty cool. So what's the extra handrails? What do they do? So if I, this is really confusing. Extra handrail. So extra handrail equals on. Ah! It gives us extra handrails, look. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Wow, I'm loving all these details. It's brilliant. It's just a shame that they didn't really tell us what key to press, like the in-between key for the scripting. Coal rail on and off. That sounds pretty cool. We'll copy this just to save time. There we go. Let's put a coal rail on top of the coal there. That's brilliant, isn't it? And do you know what? That coal looks brilliant. It's 3D coal. That's pretty cool. Right. So what else do we have on this? I'm trying to and go through as much as I can, but I don't want to do too many because otherwise we'll be here forever. So footsteps, footplate step on. Let's put that on. Find out what that is. Yep, there we go. Now that's cool because I believe I actually worked on Austerity at the Con Valley Railway originally, and that footstep was really handy, especially going up to the tank to fill it up with water. It's a good way of doing it. So yes, that step is always handy. It's good that they've added this, so you can sort of, you know, customize it to your heart's content, really. Ladders. We like the look of this. So we've got small and large ladders. Okay. Ladders equals small. There we go. We've got a ladder on the side now. 2 ladders either side. So what happens if you put ladder equals large? So what difference has that made then? What happens if I put small? Okay, there's not really much of a difference here. Is that correct then? Or maybe that's a fault? Because there is literally no difference. That looks relatively large to me. And if I put large... Okay, yeah, it doesn't make a difference. So something's not quite right there, I don't think. Anyway, let's have a look, see what else we've got. Gusset stays, single or double? Let's have a look at that, shall we? Okay. I don't know what that's done. Oh, it's because I didn't put single properly. Can't really see what that's done. Okay, I'm not quite sure what that's done. But yeah, that's that anyway. Seats. What seats? Is that seats in the cab, I'm guessing, or something? Perhaps. Again, not quite sure on that, but yeah, but you can see the the customizability of the locos is pretty insane, and it's definitely you know there is definitely some more customizable options to opposed to the old Mesh Tools version of the Austerity. Now, you can get customizable options for the Mesh Tools Austerity as well, because there is actually, believe it or not, child objects that come with that. But the only way to actually get them on a variant of the Austerity, or a particular variant that you want, is to make a reskin and then mess around with the child objects within the bin files. And if you was a normal player of Train Simulator, or you didn't really know how to reskin or modify bin files, that's not technically brilliant. But if you're just like a player who's just come into the game and you want to modify an Austerity, this is a good way of doing it, because you can do it via the in-game editor and you could make stuff out of it. So that's the good thing about this. But yeah, there is lots to be seen with this. Loads of different features. I will put some drivers on certain variants, so I will put one on that as well, just so we can get a general idea of how some of them work. But I think from this point onwards, we should press play. I have placed down an Austerity on the route, and we're just going to have a little run down the Elam Valley, just for a little bit to see how it runs. But yeah, so without further ado, I think we should press play and have a look at the Austerity in game, or NS8800 as it's called. So here we are. We have the Diesel ejector variant here. What I will do while we're here as well is have a look. Is take a quick picture of these, because that just looks very nice, doesn't it? So let's have a little look round at the variants you get. So these are obviously your bog standard NS8800 standard Austerity variant, but you can see the amount of detail that's been put in the model. It looks very, very nice. I think personally the textures could be improved. I just think that it does not look as good as the Mesh Tools Austerity, but then again, this is freeware, so we shouldn't expect too much from it in that regard. But I can definitely say that the texturing on the older Mesh Tools Austerities are definitely better than this. We also have this weathered version of the standard Austerity, which again, looks quite smart. Yeah, we've got all the weathering on the buffers, and the buffer beam itself. The 3D cull is very, very nice actually. This is really, really nice touch. You can see obviously all the gunk and all the smuts and crap on the top of the boiler there, and on the cab roof. We've got a slight difference in the cab as well, as in the sense that this is cleaner, and obviously in the weathered version it's more dirty and horrible, which again is a nice touch. So we head over to here. We've got number 50 or number 13 even, which this is an interesting Austerity because of the fact that it has like these windows on the loco, which is a bit different than your bog standard Austerity. I probably should have put a driver on that just to see what it looks like in the cab with the windows, because that looks pretty cool. But yeah, an interesting thing about this as well is you've got like a rusted, weathered or red smoke box door dart. Bless me. But yeah, it does look quite good. This is sort of the main one in the pack. Is this one? This was the one that we saw on the teasers, which is number 8811. I believe this is a preserved one. But yeah, we'll select that and we'll see what kind of things we can do with this. One of the things I do like about this particular variant is the wheels. I like how they're a lot more cleaner. And look, we can see all the lubrication ports on the rodding. We've got all of the piping present and correct as it should be. We've got all these extra little bits and pieces on there. We've got the obviously 3-link coupling. We also have air brakes on this particular variant as well, whereas others don't have that. So that's interesting. So this is so that's your NS, number 8811. We've also got number 8808, which is sort of this sort of olive green version. Which again, it doesn't look too bad. It's sort of a more sort of WD green. Obviously, moving over to the back, you'll notice as well that these have. I'm just going to pause that because that's going to start annoying me. We can see that we have extra lamp brackets and things on the back of these. I believe we can have a little mess around with those at some point. But it's on pretty much all of them, on all of the NS versions. But this is obviously the same as this, but just a slight weathered version. This is 8814. Got Hudswell Clark on that one. And then we've got Robert Stevenson's and Hawthorne on that one. So we've got difference in builders plates as well, depending on the classmate that's been spawned down. As well as all of the different variants as well, and how they should look. So we come over to here, it's a more weathered version. More sort of heavy weathered version, this one. Which, yeah, that's looking good, isn't it? And yeah, so there is some variants that look more or less the same, but just with different versions of weathering. I believe some of them are lined as well. So I think if we come over to this one, it's a lined version, so we can see lining on the cab side and on the rear. Yeah, so some of them are lined as well. And then we have the WD versions as well, which I really like. I like the War Department versions with the WD written on the side. It's probably, I'd say, one of my favourite versions of them in the pack. I do like a WD Green Austerity, or NS8800, whatever they're called, in Dutch, obviously. But yeah, it does look really, really nice, doesn't it? So we'll come into the cab here. We've actually got a firebox interior, I've noticed. Look at that. What's an animation? Look at that, animated fire. Now that is very, very cool. That is a nice touch. That building keeps getting in the way. But yeah, so they're all the versions you get with it. We're going to the cab of number 8811. So this is your cab, yeah. Texturing, as I say, is definitely not as good as the Mesh Tools Austerities. It is a bit naff in places, if I'm going to be brutally honest with you. You can't open and close the cab windows. You can't, well, any of them. You can't open and close any of them. Yeah, there's very limited stuff you can do in the cab. I have got auto fireman on, so I can't really look at the firebox. So what are the viewpoints in the cab? So we've got a right-hand lean out. We've got a version where we can see the wheels. Got a version where we can see the wheels on the other side. Fireman's side, fireman's lean out, and then back to your default view. So there is, quite a few variants of cab views in this. We can't open up the hatch here, but we can open up the sunroof, or hatch in the roof there. So that's the only thing you can open within this. So whistles, I believe it's V for your short bursts. That's alright, it's a bit loud. Not really the best recording in the world. And then we press the spacebar, we've got a looped whistle. That's quite nice actually. Yeah, the looping on that's pretty spot on. It's just a bit loud though, I find. It's not really mixed as nice as I could expect it to be. And then we've got a Z whistle as well. Oh, that's interesting, okay. Okay, I like that. So, if you hold down Z, it makes a sort of lower pitched whistle. And then if you let go of Z, you get the higher pitch. Yeah, I like that. That's a cool feature. Very cool. It's a way of getting around sort of a quillable whistle in a sense. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the lamps. So I think it's control 1. Does it do anything? Or H? No, hang on. Let's have a look at the manual. We'll need to come back to the manual again and have a look at the controls. So it's shift 1 and 2. We add our lamps. 3, 4. No, it doesn't do anything. Shift 1 and 2. Yes, we've got our lamps there. That's pretty cool, isn't it? What does shift 3 and 4 do? Oh, it does it on the other end. 5. 5 does these, whatever these things are, the NS things, and then I'm guessing shift 6 does the other sides. Yeah, so that's pretty cool, isn't it? So you've got them features as well. But yeah, so what I will do as well is just before we mess around with this, I'm just gonna move this one. Gonna move it to the turntable. It has just spawned in now, actually. Yeah, so this cab is slightly different as well. Look, so we've got it's a slightly different cab. Oh, the whistle's the same. Yeah, they are. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. When you try and move the whistle with your mouse, it does this like little glitch. Strange. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty good. I will give it that. It's pretty good. Okay. Cylinder cock's open. We'll get ourselves moving a little bit. Have a listen to the diesel ejector sounds. You know what? It doesn't sound terrible. I quite like the sound of it already. Almost smell the steam. So what does this have if I press shift 1 on it? Oh, this has normal standard BR lamps. Yeah, I like that. Sort of your bog standard British austerity, isn't it? Oh look! The fire is animated! Oh wow! Yeah, now that is cool. That is very, very cool. I haven't seen that before in TS. That is, yeah, very, very nice touch. Well done, lads. I like that. I mean, the animation is a bit jerky. Like, you can tell it's like a PNG image, sort of, well, almost like an animated GIF. But at least it's there. You know, that's the first time I've ever seen something like that. I don't think we've really had a proper animated fire, not in TS. So that's, you know, that's something new. But yeah, so that was the sounds of the Diesel one. So obviously now we've heard that, let's have a listen to what it sounds like with the other version. Let's see if there is any difference in the sounds at all. I can't seem to move the turntable now. That's interesting. Okay. We'll make sure our points are set, which they are. So we'll have a listen. You know what? I think that sounds slightly different. I'm just going to confirm this by swapping over to the other one. Oh no, they are the same. Okay, so there's no differences in sound, obviously, on the difference in the chimneys. That's a shame, but, you know, I suppose that is asking a bit much. But yeah, anyway, so we've had a little test of that. So let's drive one along the route. So we're on a goods train here at Peen. So obviously this is the Elam Valley Railway route. If anyone is wondering what the route is, it's available as a Discord exclusive via our Discord server. So if you want to obtain the route, then head over to our Discord server and get the latest 2026 beta from there, which is a really decent looking route. It's recommended. There's quite a few requirements required for it, which does sort of let it down ever so slightly, but to be fair, given the quality of the route, you can understand why it has so many requirements. You know, I mean, just look at it. You know, it's a lovely looking route, so it makes up for it. It's worth getting the requirements for. But yeah, so we're in the cab here, and we'll put ourselves into forward. We've got the brake van view as well, which is pretty cool. So if we want to have a nice brake van view, we can. Okay, our points are set, but we haven't got the signal, which is interesting. So maybe I should creep towards it slightly and it might pull off. Oh, there we go. Definitely feels different with some weight behind it. The chuff rate on the chimney isn't in sync with the sounds. Mind you, the loud in-cab environment is very, very nice. Very realistic. I've crewed an Austerity before, so I know how it should sound, and they are very loud in the cab, so this is really nicely done. Fair play. That definitely has that loud, distinctive bark. I would definitely say that the chuff sounds are an improvement to the Mesh Tools one, especially that violent bark. Very, very loud, mine. Mind you, the Austerity is loud in real life. That is pretty mega, actually. Okay, now I can sort of understand why the whistle's quite loud, because the chuff is pretty loud. If I'm to comment something with the quillable whistle, I think a good idea for sort of the lower pitched one would have been to have it on control spacebar, because then at least then you got more of a control of it between spacebar and then control spacebar. But that's the only thing I will say about it, the quillable whistle. Leave it. If it's happy, leave it. Tunnel soon. Now there's something very, very interesting about this pack. You'll see it when we come through Etching Hill Tunnel. Something that hasn't been seen in Train Simulator Classic yet. I have had a sneak glimpse of this before doing the review, so I know what to expect on this front anyway. Watch this. Look at that. Smoke actually lowers under the tunnel. Now this is something we haven't seen since Microsoft Train Simulator. That is very cool. We haven't seen that before in Train Sim Classic, not since Microsoft Train Sim. Brilliant that that's been added. So what I might do is set us into Goods Road at Elam. I didn't set up my lamps. Yeah, that'll do. You know what? The whistle's not that bad now. Now I've had to listen to it. We are coming up to a red, but I'm just not going to bother. It's because I'm going really fast and I have to go, you know, at a certain speed for that to pull off. So one of the things with the signals on this route is their approach control in a certain manner. They're scripted in such a way that they pull off at certain speeds. So if you approach that outer home signal at over 20 miles an hour, it won't pull off. You have to slow down. It's the same with these as well, as you'll probably find out. If I go below, I need to go below 10. And there we go. So if I, yeah, it's got, You have to have certain speeds of approaching the signals on this route. That's something that Jordan did discuss with me last night. So I must always remember that. But I must admit, I'm quite impressed with how this thing drives. It's really not that bad. Oh, we've got a red lamp on the brake band now. I can't change that by the looks of it. It's a bit annoying. Someone's left the lamp on. So does it have a shift 2 camera? No, so we don't have a shift 2 camera because of the fact that you can do it in the cab. I'll tell you what, I bet it looks good coming through here. Oh yeah, look at that. I'll tell you what, an Austerity does suit this line, I'll give it that. Oh, I know why shift 2 doesn't work, because it's part of the lamps. That's why. Glitchy crossing there, for some reason the sounds keep cutting in and out. Should be something to look at on the route. Yeah, the loud in-cab environment's very, very nice. Very shaky as well and bouncy. I like it. So I'm guessing if you put a tunnel asset or occlusion or something underneath one of those bridges, it will do the smoke thing. So you can make it actually smoke duck under bridges in a sense. got fire sounds as well, like the crackling of the fire, which is really nice. Yeah, fair play. Fair play, Wayside Works. Done well on this. Right, so this is where stuff's going to get interesting, because we want to switch our point to siding. In fact, realistically, we would want to go into the platform, run round, and then go into the siding. So we would want to go into platform 2. Ah, oh, spatted the bloody signal again. It's always the outer home, the inner home signals. For f***ing sake. Excuse my French. Those inner home signals really do irritate me on this route, I must admit. I wish they didn't have the scripting on it where you have to go a certain speed. Yeah, I'm liking the braking on it. So this is via the steam brake. Obviously you would use a train brake when you've got, you know, the air. Oh yeah, something that Jordan noticed actually, that BLS staff member Jordan noticed, is when you have the air fitted version of the Austerity, it doesn't actually have anything in the cab modelled, so you don't have the air brake control actually modelled in the cab, which is a bit annoying. So basically you're operating an invisible invisible air brakes, which yeah, so that could be something that Wayside Works could look into in the means of improvements. But yeah, so we're here at Elam. We'll uncouple from the brake van and run round now, so we'll remove the lamps and just place a number 3 lamp on there. We've got the shunt, so we'll pull forward and go past the home signal. Quite nice to drive from the cab, to be fair, with the mouse. Just giving that a crack. Yeah, look, you can reach the control controls well on this, and you can still see quite a decent amount. Get a sense of feel when doing this. Yeah, you know what? That's quite good. I quite like the feel of that. Right. Whoops. Didn't want to do that. Yeah, open the cylinder drains, that'll sort it. Okay, the signal isn't pulling off, so we may have to tab the signal. There we go, it's pulled off now. Okay. I do really quite like this. It feels nice to drive. Okay. So now we'll probably have to tab the signal to get onto the stock. This has actually given me a good idea for a shunting scenario for this route actually now, with this thing. It would be quite good. I think Elam need to get themselves an Austerity. It says pass at danger approved, so should be able to go. Perfect. Look at that. Well, apart from the buffer collisions are inside each other, so I might want to move backwards slightly. That's a bit annoying. Yeah, I like that injector sound, that's quite nice, isn't it? Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Whoops. I like that, it sounds like a draining plug. Brilliant. Right. Now we've got the signal, we're okay. Oh, this is a nice view, isn't it? I approve of this view. Yes, we'll need to make sure that the rear of the train is past the signal. We're rolling. Put the handbrake on. There we go. Signal, that's good. All clear, keep setting back. All clear, keep setting back. Yeah. Whistle, because obviously we're heading into the yard. Obviously, you know, there might be staff members around, so always good to toot the whistle just in case. Just realised there's two different styles of fencing there. You've got white and unpainted wood. That's interesting. Interesting transition there. makes it slightly unique in that regard. I mean, as you can see, it is a really beautiful route. Highly recommend getting hold of it. Providing you have all the requirements. That'll do. And there we have it, guys. So that is my look at the Wayside Works new Austerity saddle tank locomotive for Train Simulator Classic. So what are my overall opinions on it? Well, what makes it different to the Mesh Tools one for a start? Well, for starters, it has scriptable features within the scenario editor, which is very, very good, actually. And I would say that the customization is definitely better than the Mesh Tools version that we've had since 2013, 2012. Mainly due to the fact that obviously you can actually do this editing of the child objects within the editor, the actual in-game editor, rather than through the bin files. I would say sounds are... it's difficult to comprehend because both of them have very good sounds. But I would say the chuffs are a little bit better on the Wayside Works version than the bog standard Mesh Tools one. But the good thing about the Mesh Tools one is you get two different types of whistles. You've got the higher pitched Austerity whistle, and you've got the sort of the lower pitched Stania hooter, as it were, like what we've got with the Wayside Works one. So you get two different versions of whistles. So I'd say that is pretty good on that front. In the means of texturing, the Mesh Tools one is definitely better, without a doubt, because at the end of the day, Mesh Tools is kind of an early rendition of Bossman Games / Precision Locomotive Developments, because if I'm not mistaken, some of the knowledge of Mesh Tools was passed over to Bossman Games Precision Locomotive Developments. So Bossman Games of today were heavily influenced by Mesh Tools. So I think we can agree there that the texturing on Mesh Tools 1 is better. But I think for freeware, this Austerity by Wayside Works, the NS8800 class, is absolutely fantastic, and it's definitely worth getting. It's, for freeware, it's absolutely fantastic. It's stunning. And, I really do admire them because, the fact that we're getting full working locomotives for freeware, I mean, it's just insane. It really is just insane. It's brilliant, to be honest. So I highly recommend going to download this new Austerity. I will link it in the description of the video for you guys to go and download it from the Wayside Works website. I'll also link a link to our Discord server in the description of the video as well, so you guys can check out the new Elam Valley Railway 2026 route beta, which has now just been released on the BLS Discord as an exclusive. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this review video, guys. If there's any reviews that you would like to see me do on any other particular pack that you would like to see, let me know in the comments. And I'll see you in another video. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Samuel Beeman of BLS. Goodbye for now.